Outside the mall, Tristan, an 8-year-old, pleaded for spare change. As he scanned the surroundings, he caught the intense gaze of a homeless man fixed upon him. Initially frightened, Tristan darted away, fearing danger. However, fate intervened as the man intercepted him, revealing a startling revelation about Tristan's own history. Tristan Campbell stood outside International Plaza and Bay Street in Tampa, Florida, and couldn't hold back his tears. His face was covered in wet streaks, and most people only looked at him for a second before they continued walking. He was there to try to raise money for his mother's funeral. Tristan's mother died after a long battle with cancer, and the funeral home was waiting for the money to pay for everything. The manager was worried about the kid, but Tristan had lied to him, explaining that his uncle was coming soon and would be paying for everything. Sadly, Tristan didn't have any family left. He was staying at the apartment, but the rent was due soon. He would not be able to pay, and others would soon discover what was going on. They would call CPS, and he would go into the system. He hated that idea. That's why he was at the mall, begging people for money. Some shoppers were familiar with the little boy because he also tried to raise funds throughout his mother's treatment. They would give him $1 or $2 before calling the cops. Luckily, Tristan was able to get away from them. But now, his mother was finally gone, and she deserved to have a nice service. So once again, he stood outside there with a sign where he wrote what he needed. After a long sniffle, Tristan dried his tears, thinking that people might be avoiding him because of his crying. He needed that money, so he had to be brave and stop. But once he cleared his eyes using his hands, Tristan saw someone strange. A man was looking at him from the other side of the street. His stare was unnerving. The man was dressed in tattered clothing, and it was clear he was homeless. Tristan feared he would become like him soon, but an even scarier thought crossed his mind. What if he wants to steal my money? No, my mom needs it. Tristan gathered his hat from the floor where people had thrown some extra change and started counting. He placed them inside his pocket quickly and raised his head just to see the man cross the street and walk directly toward him. The boy's blood went cold, but he had to think fast. That's when he stood and raced out of there. He could hear the heavy footsteps of the man running after him, and the man yelled, "Wait, boy, I want to talk to you." "No, this is my mother's money. Go away." Tristan screamed back, but didn't slow his pace. "I don't want your money, boy. Please, stop." The boy didn't listen, but unfortunately, he entered a dead-end alley and couldn't escape. "Please, sir, this money is very important. My mother just died, and I need to pay for the funeral." Tristan pleaded with the man, clutching his right hand over his right pocket where he kept the cash. The man stopped and approached him slowly now. Tristan could see his unclean state and ragged shirt, but there was something familiar about his face. He also had kind eyes. Maybe he wasn't lying. "Again, I don't want your money, boy. I read your sign. You said your mother died? Can you tell me her name?" the man asked, smiling slightly. "Melanie," Tristan answered shyly. "What about you? What's your name?" "Tristan Campbell." The man closed his eyes and nodded. Then he looked at the ground, and Tristan could hear his heavy breathing. "Oh, man," the man whispered and started crying. "Sir, are you up? Did you know my mother?" Tristan asked, taking a small step towards the man. "Yes, I knew her," the man replied, "but I can't believe she's gone. I'm a horrible man." "What? Melanie, I mean, your mother was my girlfriend around 9 years ago. My name is Charlie Campbell," the man answered and looked up at him. Tristan could see the tears in his eyes and the sadness in his expression. "Why do you have my last name?" Tristan questioned, although the 8-year-old was no fool. He already guessed the reason. "I'm pretty sure I'm your father, kid," the man revealed. The boy had no idea what to say, but it was probably true. The man's face had looked familiar because they shared the same green eyes. "Ugh, so you don't want to take my money?" Tristan added, just to confirm. Charlie laughed bitterly. "No, Tristan, I would never do that. I fell on hard times, and that's why I'm homeless. But I would not take money from a child. Besides, you need to pay for Melanie's funeral, right? That's what your sign said." "Yeah, it's expensive," the boy said, scratching the back of his head with one hand. "Let me ask you something else. Who are you staying with? An aunt or an uncle?" "No one. Melanie told me she had a sister," Charlie stated with a frown. He wiped the tears that had streaked his face and looked straight at the boy. "No, I never met anyone, or maybe they don't know Mom died," Tristan continued, not knowing what else to say. It was the truth. It had always been just the two of them. "And why are you on the streets? Shouldn't CPS have taken you in?" "I lied to some people. I told them my uncle was coming soon. I guess they didn't call anyone," Tristan answered, but suddenly he was curious about something. "If you're my father, why weren't you in my life?" "That's a long story." Charlie began and said that he had run away as soon as Melanie told him she was pregnant. He didn't want the responsibility. "But in the end, it was the worst thing I ever did. Karma got to me, and I got mixed up with some bad people. I should have stayed with your mother and been a father to you." They talked more in that dead-end alley and even had a few laughs despite their sad circumstances. Finally, Tristan had an idea. "Why don't you come live with me so that I won't be taken away? But on the condition that you will get a job and help me out. I'm a kid. I can't do anything without an adult without raising suspicion." "Are you sure? Do you have a house?" "An apartment, but rent is due at the end of the month. I don't have the money. I still have to pay for Mom's funeral," Tristan continued. After pondering for several minutes, Charlie, homeless and unsure about parenting, couldn't resist the offer. He moved in with Tristan, providing them both with stability to seek employment. Together, they scraped together funds for Melanie's modest funeral, bonding over shared memories. Charlie landed a job at Target, securing their residence and granting Tristan a return to school. Despite their unconventional beginning, they became a family united by their journey.